Hey guys, model photography is not a real thing, all right? It's just not. Nobody's gonna pay for model photography photos except for like the parents of the model or maybe the model themselves. So if you wanna make a business out of photography, you gotta stop shooting models, or at least stop thinking about my photo as a picture of this model, because that's not gonna get you any bookings. So let's get into it. So what the hell is modeling then? What is a model? Models are props. Models are an accessory to the fact. Models are a facet of a photo. They're not the photo. It's maybe a little weird to hear that, but models are an accessory to the image. They're not what the image is about. So let's say you're looking at portraits online and you're like, well, this was a national ad campaign. Is this not a model photography photo? Like, what is this? Probably not. It's probably a fashion ad, or it's probably a makeup ad, or it's probably something about a product that has to sell you something. The model is made to make that product look great. It's not a photo of the model. It's about how that model makes you feel as a consumer of the product that they're all selling together. So I got a comment last week on one of you guys that was talking about, what is a story? And it's completely valid, because I was also like that. I'm like, I was starting out in photography. I was learning so much about how to expose an image, how to shoot something, how to have my own voice. What do you mean I'm also supposed to think of a story? What's story? It's a single photo. I'm supposed to tell a beginning, middle, and end with a photo. Like, what is this? But the idea of a story in a photo comes down to all the tiny little details that are in it. If you can think of celebrity portraits, which are, arguably kind of a model photography-esque type of shooting. They're just so few and far between in the grand scheme of photography. It's not like there's a lot of celebrity shoots going on. Oftentimes when it's a picture of a celebrity, or it's like a celebrity portrait, it'll be, let's break down who this real person is behind the characters that they play. Or, who is Bob De Niro behind the scenes? Who is Ryan Reynolds when he's not Deadpool? Things like that. So what we're trying to accomplish in these kinds of portraits is the clothing that they wear, the textures in the house that's behind them, the location, the type of lighting, the mood of lighting, all those things, the lens choices, all those different little things that we can choose as photographers help tell our story as photographers. And let's say you get a typical image of someone like Ron Perlman, and he's smiling, and you're like, man, how did that, it's just a picture of him in a studio and he's smiling, but it's so weird and different and out of character. That alone is enough to be a, compelling photograph of a story. Same goes with you're taking a picture of a lipstick. It can be on a model to make you as a consumer feel like, oh man, I might be as pretty as this model if I wear this lipstick. What do you think? Is it good? But at the same time, you can also have a still life representation of this lipstick and put it in a most grandiose, incredible, larger than life feeling as still life photographers. But the point is, you still have to focus on that story. You have to take your product and make it as marketable as possible. If you're focusing on modeling photography, your product is the person and who's going to book them. If you're trying to shoot agency photos for models, those pictures are basically just as evenly lit as possible and about the model in front of a neutral colored wall. So it doesn't give you a whole lot of wiggle room as a photographer to create story and to create, depth in these images. But if you are focusing on the clothing that they're wearing, if you have a clothing brand that's hiring you and you're using models to sell that clothes, yeah, the model is an accessory to the fact. It's an accessory to the story. It's not the whole point of the story. Nobody cares if this chick is really hot. Nobody cares if that dude's got crazy abs. All we care about is the product that you're actually selling, at least as photographers. If you want to make money with photography, you really have to think of who's buying your photo. If you're doing, portrait sessions for your friends and they're spending $200 to get new profile pictures, I get it. It's hard to say no to things like that as photographers, especially when we're first starting out. But the money is in businesses, the money is in B2B sales, the money is in agency sales, and the money is in advertising. The money is in things that have commercial value, and you as a photographer have to represent those things. And the best way to represent something is through storytelling. We're human beings. We are absolutely, completely attracted to story and storytelling, and it's not about how well this shot is lit or how interesting the composition is of this shot, you guys care about the content of this video, the story of this video, not how or where it was shot. So do the same thing for your photography and you'll be way better off in the long run. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. I hope you guys learned something out of this one, and maybe leave a like on your way out. And I'll see you later.